Virginia Woolf's To the Lighthouse, 1927, stands as one of the central achievements of literary modernism, both formally innovative and deeply personal. Written in the aftermath of her parents' deaths, and partly inspired by Woolf's childhood summers at Tolland House in St. Ives, the novel functions as what Woolf herself called a spectral elegy. Rather than offering a traditional plot or a definitive view of the world, To the Lighthouse is conceived as all character, a world perceived through shifting consciousnesses, fragmented time, and fleeting moments of awareness. At its core, the novel explores Woolf's concept of moments of being, the passage of time, and the possibility of a female mode of knowledge and artistic creation distinct from patriarchal logic. Central to Woolf's aesthetic is her distinction between moments of being and moments of non-being, articulated in her autobiographical essay A Sketch of the Past, 1939. Woolf suggests that most of life is lived in routine and habit, yet occasionally interrupted by intense moments of awareness that reveal a deeper truth about existence. These moments resemble James Joyce's epiphanies, but are less sudden revelations than heightened perceptions of connection, presence, and meaning. To the Lighthouse is structured around the attempt to capture such moments and to resist the relentless flow of chronological time by creating what modernist critics have called as spatial form, a reconstitution of unity from fragmented temporal experiences. The novel is divided into three parts: the window, time passes, and the lighthouse, a deliberately interrupted structure that emphasizes subjective time over historical chronology. The window, the longest section, unfolds over the course of a single afternoon and evening before the First World War. It introduces the Ramsay family and their guests at their summer home in the Hebrides, with the lighthouse across the bay functioning as a constant yet unreachable presence. James Ramsay's desire to visit the lighthouse and his father's blunt denial encapsulate the emotional conflict between Mr. Ramsay's rational, fact-driven worldview and the child's emotional needs. This resentment persists throughout the novel and only finds resolution at the end. Mr. Ramsay embodies patriarchal authority and a Victorian belief in absolute truth. As a philosopher, he thinks in terms of linear progress, hierarchy, and competition, anxiously measuring his intellectual achievements as if they were letters of the alphabet. Truth, for him, is factual and unemotional, regardless of its emotional consequences. Woolf exposes the sterility of this worldview through Lily Briscoe's reflections, which reduce Mr. Ramsay's abstract thought to the image of a bare kitchen table, solid, functional, yet lifeless. His obsession with coherence and certainty contrasts sharply with Woolf's vision of reality as relational, fragile, and dependent on perception. Opposed to Mr. Ramsay stands Mrs. Ramsay, a figure modelled in part on Woolf's mother, Julia Stephen, the Victorian angel of the house. Mrs. Ramsay represents a mode of being grounded in sympathy, care, and emotional connection. She gives herself up to others, creating fleeting moments of unity, particularly during the dinner scene, one of the novel's clearest moments of being. Although Woolf did not wish to live such a life herself, she treats Mrs. Ramsay with reverence rather than irony, rescuing the traditional woman from the anonymity to which male literary history had often confined her. Mrs. Ramsay's identity is defined not by possession or competition, but by openness to others. Her way of knowing the world is relational rather than egotistical. The second section, Time Passes, marks a radical formal shift. Covering 10 years in only a few pages, it adopts an impersonal, almost disembodied narrative voice. The house is abandoned, seasons pass, and major events, Mrs. Ramsay's death, Prue's death in childbirth, and Andrew's death in war, are reported parenthetically, as if marginal. In a novel written by a woman, the First World War appears in brackets, reversing traditional narrative priorities. The absence of a stable observer raises the question of who is speaking, suggesting what critics have called a voice without a self. Time becomes destructive, impersonal, and indifferent, yet it is also shaped by memory and loss. What seems marginal becomes central, and absence itself structures meaning. The final section, the lighthouse, reunites the surviving characters and restores subjectivity. Mr. Ramsay, James, and can finally make the long-delayed journey to the lighthouse. During the trip, the children initially resent their father's self-pity and tyranny, but as they approach the lighthouse, their perception changes. James experiences a moment of tenderness and connection, achieving a belated reconciliation that is emotional rather than rational. This moment mirrors Lily Briscoe's artistic breakthrough on shore,